Hello, what's up, guys? Here is Kilas, and today I will have a very amazing and informative interview with the CEO of Reef Finance, Denko.
Thanks. Happy to be here.
So, Reef Finance, the first cross-chain DeFi operating system. So, Denko, please tell to my audience little about yourself, who you are.
Sure. So my name is Denko, and I'm the CEO of Reef. I have tech background myself. I started programming in early high school. I started with C++, did some algorithmic competitions for a few years, and then I moved into commercial software development, where I worked for two different ERP providers, built some warehousing modules and some mobile apps, which are still used to this day. And around 2.5 years after that, I moved into healthcare. So I worked for one of the biggest healthcare platform providers. They're, I think, over 200 mil valuation now. I was a tech lead there. I worked on a complex tool for healthcare data modeling. And around 5.5, 6 years ago, I discovered crypto. I got into it. My first experience was with NXT blockchain. I'm not Probably some of your audience remembers NXT, which then turned into Ardor. And obviously, I did a lot of Solidity, as well as I did BitShares, Steam, and some EOS. I'm based in Slovenia. Slovenia is a small country. The development community here is not super big. It's probably like less than 50 blockchain developers country-wise.
Okay.
So everyone really knows each other. So we decided to team up, and we worked as a team on multiple analytics projects as well as blockchain projects. So we have, like, part of the team is data scientists, part of the team is blockchain engineers. Last year we did mostly analytics. So we worked B2B, we worked for some funds, provided them some metrics which they based their decisions on. And around November last year, we decided to fully focus on DeFi. And here we are. I've been basically since then working full time on Reef.
Okay, well, nice. That's a big career what you made. So, okay, big question. So you can shortly tell us about Reef. What is Reef Finance?
Sure. So to simplify, what refinance means stands for is we want to, like, lower the technical barrier of entry to this landscape for the average retail investor. So besides the providing the utility to get into, like, all the different instruments, we want to use our analytics engine, which we have been working for some time, and allow them, to make better decisions based on their risk levels. So that's what Reef is about. It's We call it the first cross-chain DeFi operating system. And the reason why we call it operating system is because it has, like, both infrastructural components as well as components with which the users interact. And the first two components are infrastructural. These are the smart yield farming engine, which is powered by our analytics engine. This is the pretty much the basket engine, which is completely on chain. And then the third one is the smart asset management, and this is, where the users come, they choose their risk level, and
Yeah.
then they participate into the DeFi landscape with ease. That's what we stand for.
Mm-hmm. Also, big topic for my audience is also, yeah, security, because in crypto
Sure.
security, this is a big problem these times. Many people get hacked. Yeah. So, as security should be a top factor for any platform. How does Reef ensure high resilience?
Great. So that's a great question. So, Reef platform is fully non-custodial, which means we cannot get hacked because we do not store your assets, we do not hold your assets, and so on.
Mm-hmm.
But there is the point of failure is the smart contracts, obviously, and we are doing something that other projects don't. So the first one is, obviously, you have to get audited by more than one company. So the more eyeballs look into the code base, the better. This takes like 2 to 3 weeks per auditor. But besides this, as we've seen, this is not the only way to do it, and it's not 100% secure. As we've seen, like, big companies, they put their stamp, but the project still get hacked. So what we did on top of that, we added, like, programmatic limits to our smart contract. So for example, when we launched the initial version, people cannot invest combined, all of them, more than 100 ether. So what happens? 100 ether is still, a lot of money for a hacker to, for example, hack
Yeah, that's right.
the smart contract, which since we have funding, we'll be able to cover it. But for example, if a huge hack happens, we cannot cover it. So what happens is we're auditing the smart contracts and we are adding like emergency funds sending back to the users, as well as programmatic limits. So we're basically doing one step further to ensure the safety of the users' funds.
So I found it that your project is powered by Polkadot. Polkadot is also a big topic now. So I'm hearing more and more about Polkadot, but many tokens are powered by Ethereum. You don't believe in Ethereum 2.0 or?
Yeah, that's a great question. So actually, I do believe, and the reason why Polkadot exists is to defragment those ecosystems. So when you talk Polkadot, it's not just another ecosystem where you have like a portion of the crypto user base just go towards it. The Polkadot's goal is to unite all of those ecosystems, and that's why we chose it. So through Polkadot, we are able to connect to all the ecosystems, including Ethereum, and through Reef, you'll be able to access multiple ecosystems from one place pretty much. So we do believe in Ethereum 2.0, and obviously Polkadot, because the interoperability layer that Polkadot provides, it's really like next level and will allow like defragmentation of the whole landscape.
That can be interesting because when Polkadot was at $3, I invested in that a little of my funds, and it's keep growing. So I think it has a big potential to be higher and higher. So,
definitely.
Reef is essentially a global liquidity aggregator. It reminds me of Orion protocol. What makes Reef really innovative and no more of the same?
Yeah. So the global liquidity aggregator is just like one part of our project, and it's not really at least at the beginning, it's not visible for the user. Why? Because we want to abstract away like the interaction with order book, because when users see order book, it's scary. They're like, what do I do here? Maybe like if I misclick something, I will lose my money. So what happens is our basket engine is using the global liquidity aggregator in the background. So you have those baskets. Those baskets are like a composition of different DeFi instruments that we think you should get in based on your risk level. And some of those baskets, they contain direct token exposure, for example, to Chainlink or some other ERC20 token that we think you should have in your portfolio. And when the basket needs to buy certain coin, it's using the global liquidity aggregator in the background to get the best price, least slippage, and if it's like a bigger order, route it to the appropriate places. And additionally, in the next version, we will introduce like centralized exchange liquidity through integrations such as Binance Access, as well as prime brokers, and this will allow the user to get even more liquidity from other places, which will result in less slippage.
Amazing answer. So this was really informative. So I checked the roadmap, and you have a big plans. Reef basket dynamic, how we spoke about it, smart asset management, multi-ecosystem support, pooling mechanism, Reef DAO structure. Yeah, but what are the competitive advantages of Reef Yield over huge competitors, a Compound, Curvefy, and other yield farming platforms?
Sure. So basically, like the main edge, or as I would call it, like unfair advantage over the other project, is the fact that we're not just doing things completely on chain. We have the off-chain analytics engine, which is a huge engine that collects a lot of data from different sources. There is complex math, statistics, machine learning going on in the background. We extract different metrics out of this. We derive risk levels out of this. And then, this is something that you cannot replicate. So for example, if you're like a decent developer, you can just go and create a clone of Uniswap. You can create a clone of Wi-Fi and so on. So Reef has this advantage where you cannot do that because our analytics engine is closed for now, and we will publish the methodology of how we are deriving risk levels and so on. But back to like Curve and the other DeFi protocols out there, how we see it is they're financial primitives. So what financial primitives mean is they're building blocks of the whole a decentralized finance ecosystem.
Yeah.
So Reef is on top of that, which means we are composing and integrating with pretty much all the important ones, all the ones that have users that have like enough liquidity. So through Reef, if you use Reef, you're basically using everything else. So you come on Reef, you're using Curve in the background through the basket. You're using Uniswap, you're
Nice.
using Aave, and so on.
Perfect. So it's interesting from all this because how you see you can use all in one. So
Yep.
So little other question now. It maybe will be interesting for someone. So from where comes
Sure.
the name Reef? Can you tell me what make you choose that name?
Sure. So, reef comes from the ocean reef. So in the ocean, you have different, types of animals, and all of
Yeah.
them meet around the reef. And here you have different types of financial primitives, and all of them meet in the reef basket engine. And that's where the names comes from, because it means that you have certain things that are, meeting at a single point. And since the crypto landscape really likes ocean animals, so people call it like fish, or a whale comes, or like a shark comes. That's where the name Reef comes from, and why we
Yeah.
chose it.
That's a really good comparison with ocean. So
Mm-hmm.
investors seem to only care about the price of the token instead of the real value of the project. How does your team attract newcomers and keep members long term with the project? What is the real value of Reef? Because in my experience, I made last month, many projects. So about, for example, it was X Ethereum. The price was $2.70. Here on this project was a pack, something like $4. The price goes to $3.50, something like that. And after 2 weeks, it goes down to $70 only. And that's it. People waiting only for pumps, and then they want to sell all. So you can answer my
Yeah.
question now.
Sure. So basically, like, you have like certain percentage of these people that are like speculators, and they just wanna gamble and move the price up and down and so on. And the reason why a lot of projects like choose to raise funds from like big funds is that those funds are like, they have like a portfolio manager and a team that's that they know what they're doing. They're not for the short term just to flip the project. So what happens is I split those people that are interested around Reef into two different baskets. So the first one is the users. Those are the users, and we are like, they're our priority. Like, we want to like expand, we want to get as many users as possible. And on the other side, you have people that care about the token and holding the token. And now obviously you have like a subset where you have users and people who hold the token as well. So here, the way our components are tied together with the Reef token is something that no other project has. So the more users come and use our product, and they would use our product because we provide utility for them, the better the supply demand feedback loop around the token is. So as the users make more money in the baskets, the token keeps growing because a portion of their profits go into the token. So the way like the token structure, the incentive mechanisms, and the components work is all about a positive feedback loop. And that's why like the investors chose to be part of it, because they can see that we are focused on users and revenue, which means this will render the project sustainable over the long run, and eventually like fully sustainable, where like portion of the revenue can be used to fund the expenses of the company. So those are the reasons why.
So one good question for you is, so maybe you can answer me it. So why the Reef Intelligence Engine is an off-chain oracle? There not better option be on-chain. Why decided to keep it
Yeah.
away?
Yeah. So the blockchain, as a technology stack, it's not that active on its own, and you cannot do a lot of processing. And why is every time you want to process something, it needs to be sent to a lot of different machines, which are called miners. It's completely distributed, and that's why it costs a lot of money. And what happens in our analytics engine, which is off-chain, is we collect a lot of data, like a lot, terabytes of data, that we further have to compute on like very powerful machines with algorithms that require like a lot of processing power. And then those metrics are injected in our like smart asset management component, and then in the smart contracts. So until there is a better on-chain solution, so you have some projects that are coming up with like cloud solutions, like Crust network, for example. We plan to deploy like a certain part of our off-chain engine on Crust. Until this infrastructure, which is completely off-chain, matures enough that we can put it on-chain, we will stay that way. But we will, obviously keep our GitHub open. We will write methodologies of how we are doing it, like write blog posts and so on, so other people can contribute as well. But due to the answer is due to the maturity of the tech, we cannot put certain things on chain.
Perfect answer. So for now, big topic is staking. So when I really never staked some tokens. So this is my experience. So I made it now many videos about DeFi, about tokens, and the CEO said to me, "Yeah, you can stake this token, you will be millionaire." Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
But this token goes down, how I said, from $3 to $6 and yeah. But staking is very popular topic, how I said recently. Please tell us in detail about the Reef staking plan and the benefits of adding staking, because many viewers from my audience are staking the tokens because I receive private messages. Should I stake? Should I didn't stake? Should I stake?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So look, like what's important for users to, and this is not just for Reef, but in general, when they stake and someone promises them like APY 10, 15, 20 zillion%, they should ask themselves, where do the money come from? Like, is there something that those people do with my tokens that I lock them in, and how is the revenue generated? And as I mentioned earlier, our main focus with Reef is generating revenue. So when you stake into the Reef pools, basically you're exposed to the fees that our basket engine and the smart asset management layer is generating, and that's how you earn. And the more users are using the product, the more revenue generated, the better the APY. And you have multiple levels of staking in Reef. So the first one is you can stake into a farm without lock. Then you can stake into like another form of farm, which we called it like a bond, which you can lock the tokens for like 6 months or 12 months, and then you will get like even a bigger portion of the revenue that's generated. And the third one, which is like the deeper staking, is you can convert your token for LP tokens. So you can provide liquidity basically, and then lock those LP tokens into like a LP token farm. And this would give you the highest yield, and it would give you obviously the highest percentage of the revenue that's generated by the ecosystem. So what I'm saying is our APY is backed by some service in the background. It's not just random percentage that we come up with and we will be like, oh, we'll give you 10%, 15%. No, it's backed by other people paying for the service that we're providing.
That was really informative and yeah, good recommendation for my audience. So let's talk little about partners. So I saw on Medium, on the social media, that you are working now with Finance Vault, you are working now with Staffy Protocol, for example.
Yeah,
with
and
Kava. With Kava, that's right. And yeah, on the homepage you can see also many partners. So, but the question is, partners playing a big role in a project's success. Right? So, can you talk about your main partners? What role they play in the Reef ecosystem?
Sure. So as I mentioned, like since Reef sits on top of like the financial primitives, like the way we are positioned is we have to partner with a lot of projects to allow our users access to more like instruments. And some of those projects are infrastructural, such as like Chainlink, because we need oracles both on Polkadot as well as on Ethereum. Then you have Crust Network. Again, we need their storage. But then you have like other projects like Kava, which open a completely new ecosystem, so the users can come on Reef and they will be able to access the whole DeFi landscape. So this is the reason why we are partnering with a lot of projects, because that's what we are about. We are about like compiling everything out there into a single product.
Amazing. So we are going little to the end of the interview. So the last question, I think it's very good question for investors. And yeah, can you tell us the motivation and benefits for investors to hold Reef in a long-term investment? And what plans do you have to help drive demand and scarcity?
Sure. So if the investors believe in the DeFi landscape, like the whole paradigm, basically the way Reef is positioned is if this landscape grows, it means that more users coming to the landscape. It means more users are using Reef. It means more revenue generated, which means more money are getting into the token.
Yeah.
So this is basically this is the simplest way to explain it. Like if certain people believe, oh, I believe in DeFi. Well, this is one way how that belief can be transformed into something that you can eventually gain. So that's the reason why we have like all of these big funds backing us up.
So guys, you will have all links in the description. So to the Twitter, to the Telegram, to the Medium, LinkedIn. So you can follow the all news. So how I say it, on Medium they are really active. So we can see the partnership with Finance Vault, how I say it, with Kava. So yeah, and you will be informed, we can say every day, right? So
perfect.
That was very informative, amazing interview with you, Denko.
Thank you as well. Thank you for your time. Happy to be here. Hope to see your community into our Telegram group so we can chat further about Reef.
Yeah, how I said, you will have the links in the channel description. So under our interview, let a nice comment, your opinion about Reef finance, and yeah, I am planning to make a very amazing English review about Reef finance. So, and yeah, here was with me Denko Moheski.
Thanks. Happy to be here.
And we see us in the next video. Bye.
Thank you.